So what we're working on today is a Henry. Hold on. Let's see if it'll let me do that. It will. The Henry ss750 HF. Now we've been over one of these already, but the difference between this one and the other one is the other one had a filter board in it that hung on the lid. Now, surprisingly enough, it's back. This guy blew his antenna completely to smithereens with this box. And this thing's got a remote on it to beat all others. And it works in all bands and all modes. He sent it back up here to get it checked out. There ain't nothing wrong with this amplifier. It's running like a raped animal. So I'm going to box this one back up and send it back to you, Will. Now, Mr. T here, on the other hand, he's got himself a different bag of wax. This amplifier doesn't have the filtering board in it, but it's got the same downfall as the other amplifier. When Henry built this thing, they built it to run another amp. And so they designed this thing so it only put out 400 watts max. Period. And I'm going to show you what I mean by this here in a second. So here's our ICOM 7300. 1000 watt slug 2 through 30, of course. Hello, audio. 100 watts of drive, right? Let me show you what that looks like on the input. Now we got our 10-to-1 reduction probe going over to our Syncor wave analyzer, which is a fancy term for scope. Hello, 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 audio. So we got about 100% field growth. Now the RF comes from this connector, goes through this relay, comes out this relay, goes down a piece of coax and goes to this Bird 6 dB attenuator. And then it comes back out of the attenuation device, which couples the RF to ground, through a 3D attenuator into the input splitter board. So we've got 100% field growth. Now check this out. Hello, audio. Mute that real quick. Hello, audio. As you can see, we've lost half of our input signal. Okay, so now we're going to go over here and we're going to hook up to the 3D attenuator, or known as a pad. Hello, audio, hello, hello, hello. Hello, 400 watts. Now look at what happens when we go up to 10 meter. Hello, same amount of drive. Hello, hello. Now we all know, unless you have an input board that changes the induction load for the input, you're going to have a bell curve. So you're going to have a real sharp gain angle, and then it's going to drop off as you go up in frequency. So gain, otherwise your amplified gain, over frequency, and it's going to look like this. Now what is going on here? It's Will calling me about his amplifier. You're going to see this huge spike in gain that's going to fall off. This thing puts out its best power at 160 through 40 meters. So now we've seen our frequency response, right? Let me get in here real quick. Now this is just rough, okay? And really rough. There's guys going to be out there and they're like, no! Because of all the added induction and there's no capacitance for coupling to ground. This is horrible. But this is just a rough, I want to do a rough demonstration of what happens when we bypass 9 dBs of input attenuation. Hello, audio. pick up 100 watts here, and we'll pick up more once we do it properly. Let's go back to 160 meters. Watch this. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. 400 bird and 800, 900 watts peak envelope power by bypassing these attenuators. Now the reason this is important is because this amp was designed to run another amplifier, like the 5KD or something. Well, since this is never going to run another 5KD Classic, and the owner of this amplifier is going to run it as a standalone unit in the mobile, we need to get rid of these attenuators. So before I took these out, I wanted to show everybody where they were at. They generate a lot of heat, reason for the big footprint, and are bolted directly to the heatsink. Now, Will's amp over there has had these removed. That's the reason it does a whole lot more power. So we're going to go ahead and we're probably going to see how this works out. Either I can move the splitter board up and bring this piece of coax to the splitter board, or I need to take this relay box out, which is a giant pain in the butt, and replace all the 50 ohm coax all the way over to the splitter. Either way, I got to do it right. And as you can tell, my phone's ringing. So even though it's 8:30 in the evening, my phone never stops ringing, like ever. You crazy guys will call me at 3 o'clock in the morning to ask me a crazy question. But this is the most pristine example of a 750 I've ever seen. This thing is beautiful. What we did is we upgraded the power plug on the back, and we modified and replaced the amp load on-off switch. This thing was really soft, and you put about 30 amps of load on it and this breaker would click. So I went out, sourced, and found a new breaker and put that in. Here we go. So the only thing I got left to do is to bypass these pads, which we're going to completely remove them, take them out of the box. And then I got to build a remote circuit, which I'll probably put a little relay right in here. And what that's going to do, Will, is that you're going to leave this thing on all the time. So the only thing that's going to be on is this little LED. Okay. So you can plug in your remote jack, and when you turn the switch on, what it's going to do is activate your fans and activate this relay. So this thing will be on 100% of the time. Now, just got to make sure of one other thing, that the bias isn't switched on each one of these. So that's the only other thing I might have to work on. But that's where we're at. Now let me get back to my phone, then I can come back to this, and I'll shoot the second half once we get this completed. Bump, bump. Oh man, long day. Phone rang a bunch. Alright guys, so we're back with the ss750. Now what we did is we removed our input pads. Remember we were talking about that in the first half. Took them completely out, and what we did is we brought the two coaxes together and we summed them together on this board, and I added a little bit of capacitance to smooth down the input tune just a little bit, and now this thing is set. So same test as before. 1000 watt slug and peak, 1000 watt slug and average, 5 watt slug and reverse. We're going to use the ICOM 7300. We're going to start out on 160 meters. And you're going to notice there's a couple little changes that we've done in here, like this relay. This relay now allows us to have a remote. Off, on, off, on. Excuse me. We're going to leave this in the on position, and you're going to run your remote anywhere you want in your truck. And just so you know, pin 1 is hot, pin 2 is ground, pin 3 is return. Take pin 1 and pin 3 and tie them together, amp will come on. Just so you know, I'm just putting that in there for a reference. Okay, so now in the first video on 160 meters, this thing did 400 watts PEP. It's gonna do a little bit more than that now. So for the sake of video sound, we're gonna disconnect the fans. Turn the remote on. And with the same amount of drive, out of the same radio. Hello, hello. Now look at silly me. God. Not everything's an auto key, BBI. What I'm hooking up here is a foot pedal. I had Mr. Adams show up here this evening. I built him an amp a while back. And he was passing through town. He picked himself up a couple more I had sitting here. And so I took all this off the bench. Bad me, bad me. All right. Let's do our wattage test here. There's our drive. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. About 100 watts. Hello, audio. About 25 watts average. Step on the pedal. Hello. Here's our bird meter. Hello, audio. 500 bird. Hello. Burying that 1,000 watt slug in the corner. It did 400 watts. And just by taking that pad out, it does like 1,100. So let's go on up to 80 meters. Step on the pedal. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. This box is screaming. And we'll go on up here to 40. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. And once we get away from 40 meters, the output on this thing drops. I'm going to go to 20. Hello, audio. Hello. Now we're seeing our 800. We'll go on up to 10 meters. Now guys, remember on 10 meters it would only do 200 watts. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. And we haven't hurt anything. We just simply bypassed the factory input pad. And we did that for a reason. So you can take a normal radio and run this in your mobile and get significantly more output. Because trust me, the fans that are in this thing will more than adequately cool this box. They shouldn't get with it. Look at what this pulls for amperage on 80 meters. Almost 300 amps. Go up to 10. Audio. Audio. So you can see the difference. And this thing's done. I'm going to put the lid on it, and we're going to get a quote, and we're going to send it home. And now that I got this as a reference again, I'm going to go look at the other one, but I'm pretty sure the other one that I've got here is working the same as this one. But man, this thing is pretty on the inside, isn't it? Whew. I guess they made an ss1200. I haven't worked on that one yet. But this is the ss750, and it'll do everything plus the 750 watts, no problem whatsoever. On that note, I'm out of here. Gentlemen, my name is BBI. Without a shadow of a doubt, I am the biggest mud duck in Idaho. Come check us out, www.bbiamps.com. Come find me on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. And if you're watching me on YouTuber, please do me a favor and subscribe. All right, guys, I'm on to the next one. I'll see ya.